106.7 Light FM, Cubby and Christine in the morning. It's our Hope for the Holidays Radiothon, and we're live with Blythe Kaufman. Is that correct? How we say your last name?
Yes.
All right. And your daughter, Harper, has had some pretty amazing experiences with Hassenfeld Children's Hospital. Can we get right into what is going on with Harper?
Sure. In 2019, Harper was diagnosed with a tumor behind her optic nerve in her left eye. And then we found one on her brainstem. Harper has something called neurofibromatosis, which is a neurological genetic disorder. And unfortunately, one of the things that can come with this disorder are brain tumors. So when I noticed that Harper seemed to be that her eye was drifting a little bit, my husband, who is an eternal optimist, thought, oh, she just needs glasses, probably nothing. And I right away went to, it's definitely something. So she has a neurologist at NYU because of the neurofibromatosis. And we went to her regular eye doctor, and the regular eye doctor did not like what they saw and referred us to go to see our neurologist. And from there, it was probably a week and a half when we were at Hassenfeld. Everything happened very quickly. And we were seeing the oncologist, and a few days later, we were discussing chemotherapy and what our next steps were. So everything happened very quickly. And obviously, nobody wants to have a sick child and nobody wants to be going through this, but to have everything go so quickly is really a blessing, because obviously you don't want this to progress. So I was surprised at how fast everything went, and really grateful for that we were able to get into the doctor so quickly, and that we really started the process of trying to get rid of these tumors very quickly.
And Harper was how old when this happened and went through the whole process? Just four?
She was 4. She was turning, her birthday's in May, and we started this in November, maybe. She was very little.
Yeah. How is she doing now?
She's doing very well now. The one thing that I want to say also is that Harper does not have cancer. These tumors are not cancer, but her treatment was exactly the same as if she did have cancer, because in the end, the goal was to shrink the tumors or get rid of the tumors. And that was done through chemotherapy. So she did go through a year of chemo. Unfortunately, her tumors have not shrunk at all, but they haven't grown. So I guess in the world of oncology, that's a plus and a big win. As a mom, I would want them to not be there anymore, but they have not grown. So she's a year out from chemo now, and she's doing very well. She's in kindergarten, and she's doing amazingly well in kindergarten. This was not an easy road at all. It was extremely, obviously, trying and difficult on her physically and mentally. I have 2 other children, and it was really difficult on them. We were constantly at the hospital. Thank God we have a very good support system. And my parents were always here when we were at the doctors with Harper. And the thing that I have to say also is that this becomes a family affair at Hassenfeld, and they had no problem with bringing the boys in to see what was going on and explaining to them what was going on. It was really quite wonderful. I always say that Hassenfeld is the best, worst place you could be. Mm-hmm. Obviously, nobody wants their child to be ill or have to be there, but really being there was a godsend.
There's 2 nurses in particular that I understand, Olivia and Meredith, that you feel very grateful to.
We're beyond grateful. Obviously, the doctors are very important and play an extremely important role in a child's treatment, but you spend the majority of the time with the nurses. When Harper was at the hospital when she was going through chemo, we would literally be there an entire day. And sometimes she would have to go for an MRI prior. So we'd be at the hospital at 7:30 in the morning, then at Hassenfeld, and we'd be at Hassenfeld till 6. So and in that whole time you're with the nurses. It was last year in December that Harper came to me and said that she wants to have a lemonade stand. And I said, okay, well, it's December and we're in the height of the pandemic. And she understood what was going on in terms of that because they weren't in school because of the pandemic. So they were all learning at home. So she understood, but I said to her, we can't have a lemonade stand. It's way too cold out and nobody is going to want to buy lemonade or anything from someone's house now because of the pandemic. So we really can't have a lemonade stand. And she was insistent. And I said to her, why do you need a lemonade stand? And she said she really needs money. And I said, okay, well, if you really need money, you know, Daddy and I could give you some money. And thinking that she would say she needs it for a Barbie or something of that nature. And she said she needs a lot of money. And I said, okay, what do you need the money for? And she started to cry. And she said she needs the money to give to Meredith and Olivia. And I asked her why, of course, and she said because she just loves them so much and they help her so much, and she just wants to know if we could give them money that we raised from a lemonade stand. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's a Harper. I just want to hug her.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
hope that's where I can hug her. She's just
I hope she's
strong,
amazingly strong, and she really went through this whole process and always had questions and wanted to know what was going on. And the thing that we were very honest with her from the very, very beginning. That was something that my husband and I agreed upon. We were extremely honest with her from the very beginning. We let her know what was going on and that she had brain tumors and that this was going to be a long process. Things were going to hurt and they were going to be uncomfortable and she wasn't going to feel well, which all of those things did happen. And as I said, Olivia and Meredith were really there for us throughout the whole process, and not just for Harper, for my family as well. Sometimes they just came in to give me a hug and let me cry or talk to me about something that had nothing to do with Harper being sick or about what was going on at that moment. It was, you know, where'd you get your boots? Or like what, you know, something that have a normal conversation that for a long time I was not having. We were in a pandemic, so you really weren't seeing a lot of people. And then our whole lives revolved around getting Harper well. So the support of Olivia and Meredith meant everything to all of us, not just to Harper. So when I explained to Harper that we really can have a lemonade stand now, we had gotten a delivery from Amazon of like big boxes. So I said, you know what? Let's build a lemonade stand in the house and we'll make lemonade. And I baked cookies with her and we put up on Facebook and on Instagram to buy a virtual cookie and a cup of lemonade. And within an hour, we had hundreds of dollars coming in. And by the time we were done, we had over $3,000. And it was only up a short time. And we had over $3,000 that Harper had raised for Hassenfeld.
That really is. I mean, we can help today, right?
I hope so. Yes, and I hope it's more than $3,000. Listen, $3,000 is great and does a lot. But obviously, more is better in this case.
And what would you tell people in closing that are listening and they're like, you know, Hassenfeld Children's Hospital, I've heard about it, but I mean, how come they need my money? And tell them why we need your help.
They, in every capacity. Obviously, there are families that come in and can't afford the treatment, which is extremely unfortunate. And it's not just the treatment. that we're working on. They have visiting musicians and art and clowns and things to entertain the children, and all that costs money. I know when we came to Hassenfeld, one of the things that they also asked us, because they said they know it's very trying financially on families. Many times, if both parents are working, I was very fortunate. I wasn't working at the time. I'm not working. I'm a stay-at-home mom now. So I was able to be there for all this, but there are parents that have to quit their jobs to care for their children. And then that's not income coming in. One of the things that really surprised me was when we started with Hassenfeld, someone came in to speak to us and said, if you need help getting groceries, we can help you do that. If you need help paying your rent, we can help you do that. If you need help getting back and forth here, we can do that. And all of that costs money. That doesn't come from nowhere. All of that takes donations and money and help. We were very fortunate that we didn't need those things, but there are families that do. And to have to think about whether you could pay your rent in a time when your child is so ill should not be something that you have to think about. So Hassenfeld does help you with all of those things as well, not just caring for your child's health. Again, we cannot say enough about what Hassenfeld has not only done for Harper, but for us. If I picked up the phone now and I needed something, I know that I would speak to somebody, and whatever it is, we would get help. Whatever it is, we would get the help that we need. So it's not just a place that hopefully cures your child and keeps your child well. It's really a full support system working at Hassenfeld.
I think you're perfect. I really do. That was very well said. And Christine and I are, and the whole entire Light FM family are sending you and your beautiful little girl Harper nothing but strength and prayers for the whole family.
I appreciate it so much. I appreciate that you take the time to do this. I really, really do. It really means so much, and I'm so thankful that we got to do this. You know, again, we know people that are also going through similar things with their children, adults that are going through this, and they have not received the care that we receive at Hassenfeld. We really haven't. Unfortunately, that's the case sometimes. And there's been nothing but support for us at Hassenfeld with everyone. I mean, the person that takes your blood pressure, or even the person that cleans, whatever it is, there are people that are there for you and genuinely there for you, not just because it's their job. I can't even imagine, because unfortunately, going through this process, there have been children that Harper has seen over and over again that are no longer with us. So I can't imagine having a job where you possibly know that the child that you're working with is not going to live. So for Olivia and Meredith to give of themselves in that way also, I just think is really unbelievable, because I don't think I'd be able to do that on a daily basis.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
106.7 Lights FM.